So I tried a new, what I thought was like a dating site with like an adage, like geared toward, because I saw it on YouTube and stuff where people were talking about something and like they were like in relationships and they were like A&R. And I looked at an A&R website and I posted an ad. And then most of them seemed odd, but then there was this one guy, he seemed kind of nice. So I was talking to him for a few days, and then red flags started to go off because it's like, why is your mother coming to your house just randomly on a Thursday night and you're playing cards with her? Because it's like, why? It just seems a bit odd. And then he was saying that his sister lived with him, and it was like, okay, your sister lives with you and her boyfriend, you own a house. And then I'm starting to think, you're saying you did all this stuff, and I'm thinking, like, are you just lying to impress me? Because it's starting to sound weird, because you're like, you don't really go outside besides work, and then you don't really have much of an education besides some certificates or something. Not really sure what you do. You didn't explain it, because you said you were an engineer, but you didn't really have any education. And then when I asked about it, you said like community college. And it's like, okay, I get that. And I'm thinking, like, okay, you must have bought a house in foreclosure that was really bad off that you fixed up. And even then, in the area that you bought a house, a lot of tech people and houses rarely go for under $1 million. So it seems like your mother or father might have helped you sign off on it or something, or your sisters they helped you sign off, and your sister's in on the house, and you're saying it's yours, and then you're like, oh, I'm like, let's hang out, because it's like, I didn't really understand. I thought it was just people that were dating that might try it out or something. But then it was like yesterday I realized, oh, I can't date this guy because this is like a real fetish for him. And I'm thinking, like, people that are obsessed with stuff, they tend to turn violent if they don't get it. And I'm like, I'm not really into this fetish, but this guy seemed cool. So why not let him know I'm not that into this, but I'd like to date you. And then I'm like, I don't know if I'm the right person for you. I'm not into this. I'm sorry I let you down. I didn't understand it. I thought it was just something that people might do sometimes. I didn't realize it was like a whole thing. And then it was like, cuz I was joking, and then I didn't think anything of it cuz I'm a jokey person, and turns out he was serious, and it was like, oh shit, this is like something that he's like really into, and he's like, it has to be a part of the relationship, otherwise it can't be a relationship. And then he showed me one picture of him bald, and I'm like, can you grow hair? Because I don't date bald guys. And then he showed me a picture with hair, but then the picture of him with hair, he looked a lot younger. And then I'm thinking, and he's like, he shaved his head for the summer, and it's like, white guys don't generally shave their head for the summer. Yeah, it doesn't look right. It looks interesting. On most white guys, it doesn't look right. But he's like, he shaved his head for the summer. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then he had a beard. And it wasn't like a nice beard, because there's like guys, they have a beard. Or then there's the guys that are bald and they look okay. But it was like, this guy, he was awkward. And then he like had like these really bad tattoos. And it's like, I've never dated anybody with a tattoo. And I'm like, were you drunk when you got this? Because it was like you had to sit for at least go in back for a few sessions. And I'm like, were you an alcoholic? Because I'm trying to like figure out, like, why would you get this really bad tattoo and then you had to go back a few times because it's like big. It takes up like all your shoulders and like your chest. And I'm just thinking, like, okay, this shit is really bad. And I was like, you ever think about getting it laser removed? I'm like, are you a former drug addict, alcoholic after I saw this? And he's like, no. And it's like, okay, that's weird. But then, because I was thinking, like, oh, it might have been a first time for him on this website, just trying to see what it was about and like meet people. Because there's like some stuff where you join and it's like, oh, people, it's like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. I was like, I thought I was just joining to see. or whatever, or like new to it, or you're not that into it, but you thought you'd see what it was. Like how people who aren't vegetarians but looking toward being vegetarians join vegetarian websites and stuff. And I thought it was something like that, but no. This man, he was like obsessed, and it was like he didn't give it off, but he's like, yeah, that's what the website was for. That's what you need to be into. And then he was mentioning, because I thought he might have just had a girlfriend or something, and then like he sucked her boob or whatever. And I'm thinking like, that's it. Like you sucked her boob for like a minute or two. But it's like, no, they're like trying to sit there for like hours on end and trying to make people lactate and shit. And it's like, okay, that's not. I didn't realize that that's something that, yeah, that was not what I was expecting. So then he starts telling me he was with this other woman like years ago, and she wanted more partners and stuff. And then it's like, okay, this is like a little strange for me. I've never, that was like the only real fetish community, that and like other stuff. And like I've heard of people with leather, but I thought I wanted to go to like that Folsom Street Festival, and that might be interesting. But now I'm starting to think maybe I am not into, because it's like I know I'm not into that, but I thought it was funny. So maybe, yeah, and I'm like, shit, I thought this shit was funny or whatever, or just like something, nothing. But it's like these people are committing to it. These women are like actively trying to have men like suck on their boobs and lactate and stuff. And it's like, it's all or nothing. You have to do it. You can't be in a relationship. Because this guy, I was like, oh, you seem cool. I don't think I'm going to be into this. I didn't realize what I was getting into. And after talking to you, and you started saying stuff, and it made me realize, oh yeah, because it's like I might try it once. If I'm not into it, I'm not going to keep doing it. And it's like if somebody like thought they were gay, and then they realize, oh, I might be bi, I'll try it sometimes but not all the time. But it's like, hey, we can be friends. And then they're like, no, you need to be like gay and into this or whatever. But it was like that, and it's like, oh, this is not. And this guy is like obsessed. And I, because they like on the website it said stay safe and everything, but it was like he seemed cool, and it's kind of like you let your guard down and everything. And then it was like, oh, after that talk, when he's like, this woman, she moved on and everything. And I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting. And then I started to realize why, like, when I see stuff people say discreet, I thought it was just people like cheating on their wives and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to be friends with you or talk to you. And when you're like, oh, we need to be discreet. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you. I don't really see the point in anything being discreet. It's like, if I can't say it out loud and proud that like you're my boyfriend, you're my friend or whatever, it's like I can't be with you in any sense. And that goes for like if you're my friend and I can't say you're my friend out and proud. And it's like, why can't I say you're my friend? It's like, are you ashamed of me? Are you hiding something? What's going on? And it's like, yeah, we can't be friends then. But it's one thing to say like say if we're walking down the street and they're like, oh, who is this to you? It's like my friend. But if it's like, hey, you're posting me on the internet saying I'm your friend and all this stuff, oh, we did this, it's like, yeah, no, I'm not into that. I don't care who you are. I don't even post myself, so I don't want someone else posting me. But yeah, cause I once he was like, this is something he did with this woman, and he was like, I've only been with like 4 women, like sleeping with them, and I'm like, okay, okay, that's fine. But then it was like this need for this, and then like I was like reading, and people are like talking about they need to be on a schedule, and then all this lactating and stuff, and it's like, okay, I don't understand. And then, because I posted an ad to like get an idea, and then he responded. He was the only one that seemed a little bit normal. And then, like, I look back on our conversations, it's like, okay, maybe I bit off something a little more than I can chew. And maybe he's like one of those guys who's a shut in and he probably lives with his mother, saying he didn't, but he didn't think I would ever do it. Because the funny thing was, it was like he liked me and everything until I said I wasn't into it, and he's like, he wanted to date me, have a relationship with me. Because it's like, I always tell people I'm dating with intention, I'm looking to get married. And he's like, yeah, I'm looking for that too. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then we seemed, or he pretended to have a lot in common with me and everything. He was basically love bombing me, trying to get me to do this. Because funny thing was, we live nowhere near each other. And my ad, I posted in an area closer to where I live. And he lives like all the way on the other side. So it was like 100-mile distance between us. And we were supposed to hang out and meet on Monday. And he kept trying to back out. And I'm like, no, let's meet. Because he was like, oh, that's too far. But it was like right in the middle for both of us. It was either San Francisco or Oakland. And then it just seemed like he didn't really go out. And then it was like, kind of like, why can't you go out and stuff? And it's like, I want to meet in a public place around people. That's what they always say. You don't, if you don't, you never know what happens. And then it was just like, okay, this guy seems like he's a big fetish freak and has issues. And it was like, oh shit, I did not realize what the fuck I was getting into. Because it seemed like there were some issues, like where he was telling me, because he was older than me too, a few years older than me. And he was saying that he lived with his mother. Oh wait, no, he said his mother lived not too far from him, I guess. Because it's like, your mother lives not too far from you, where she's coming over at night after work, and your sister's there, her boyfriend's living there, and it's like your sister fell on hard times where she's been living with you for a few years. It's like, okay, her and her boyfriend, they fell on hard times like 3 months, 6 months or so, a year even, but multiple years, and they're living with you. And I didn't understand if they had a job. And then it was like his mother's coming over multiple times during the week and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And it seemed like he never went anywhere, because it was like besides work. And it was just an interesting thing. And I was like, okay. And then, but it was like the thing that really like set it off, that really made me think, was when he was talking about this, because he brought it up again. He brought it up last night, and he's like, "That's why you were on the on the on the website." And then I'm like, "Yeah." And then he started talking about this stuff, and then I'm like, "Oh shit." This is like one of those creepy things where you hear about, where like somebody might lock you in the basement. So then I thought it was done. So then he messaged me this morning, and he's like, because it was like, it was a website about A&R, adult nursing relationships. And he already knew I had boobs or whatever. So never saw my boobs, nothing like that. Didn't post any pictures. That's like weird. But he he knew stuff like I had boobs or whatever. So I was like, do you have a small penis? Because it's like, if I'm dating somebody, and I'm thinking like a real relationship, just dating anybody, it's like, I wouldn't want to date somebody with like a micro penis. That's just being honest. Because like, if you're dating, it's like, get it out of the way. Because it's like, do you have micro penis? I think that's important, that somebody should share on a first date. It's like, micro penis, how small is your penis? Because you might date somebody and it's like you're looking to date for marriage forever. And then like you're like, I'm really into this guy, and say you don't want to sleep with them like right away, and you want to give it time, like 6 months or whatever, and you're not giving this person blowjobs or anything, or hand jobs, and it's like you never see their penis. And you put in like 6 months to a year into this relationship, and you weren't sleeping together, and then you find out, oh, this guy has micro penis. And it's like, if I get married, it's like, I want to like the person I marry, but I'm not trying to marry somebody with micro penis where it's like a lesbian relationship. Because it's like, what was the point? It was like, I would have just dated a girl if I'm going to date somebody with micro penis. So it's like, I feel that's an important thing to ask somebody either before or after the first date. Because it's like, why waste each other's time? Because if you like somebody and you're falling for them, and then you're like, you want to get laid, like have a husband and like satisfying and like feel it, it's like, why would you go for a micro penis unless that's all you can get or whatever? But I just feel it's an important thing to ask in a relationship. And yeah. So he was like, isn't that a bit forward? It's like, you're on an adult nursing website and everything. But it was like before, when I was okay with it, before I really knew what I was getting into, it was fine to come all the way or halfway. He was more willing. But then once I was like, yeah, I don't think this is right, we can just be friends. He's like, yeah, that's too far for me, maybe 15 or 20 miles, but you're too far for me. It won't work out. So it was like after I rejected him, but gave him a second chance as a friend or a boyfriend with no A&R. And then he was like, no, because I'm like, I could try it, but if I don't like it, and it's like we wasted each other's time. So it's like, why not be honest? And then I'm like, we can still be friends. We have so much in common. We can date. You seem like a nice guy. And then he's like, no, 15 to 25 miles is enough for me. And I'm like, okay. So it was like, you were just trying to use me in the first place. And then he stopped talking to me. Yeah, because it's like one thing, you get to a certain age and it's like, you move on, you either have kids and have a wife, and then you do stuff for your wife for Mother's Day, but then, and you might stop by and give your mother flowers or something, or invite your mother along, but it's like, he's single, no kids, and no wife, and he's spending Mother's Day making his mother something, and it's like, yeah, I don't think your mother lives somewhere else. I think you and your sister live with your sister, her boyfriend, live with your mother in her house with her husband, and it's like, yeah, this is a bit odd at your age. And it's like, okay, I dodged a bullet there, and it's like, huh. Because it's like, kind of like, I don't know. He could be like one of those guys where he can come off normal, but then he has like a basement. Because I was just watching a movie. Yeah, because I saw it before and then I rewatched it where it was a guy. He came off normal. He had a wife, but the wife was like depressed. But then he was like a serial killer, like killing women in the basement, but the wife never went to the basement. And it was like, oh, okay, this guy could have been like that where he could have faked nice because he said he was a builder and all kind of stuff. And then the weird thing, like, that put it all together was like yesterday we were talking because I was talking about I wanted to have a homestead and stuff and buy land. And then he was talking about he wanted to have an underground bunker and then he can build stuff and he has a house. And then it was like, oh, who knows what's in your house. And then I was asking about his yard because he said he had a pool and he had a garden. And it's like, okay, so you might have a big backyard. And it was like, the girl JC Dugard from years ago, she was found in somebody's backyard not too far away in the Bay Area. And it was like, okay, this is a bit scary. I'm going to let this go. And I was like, okay, yeah, I dodged a bullet maybe. If you like, watch and subscribe for more of my crazy explorative dating stories. Bye.